Looks like it all checks out. Professor Plum, I say it was you who killed him in the kitchen with a candlestick.
Impossible! How did you know?
It's simple. First, I interrogated a witness. Was the killer a girl?
No.
Were they wearing glasses?
Yes.
Oh, was it Ryan George? What? No, what are you talking about? I don't know, the guy makes a bunch of clothes of himself, a face of a million identities. You're crazy, no one here looks exactly the same. Then I searched the lounge for some clues. Okay, what was he doing here before he went to bed?
He was doing a trivia game with his party members to learn all the knowledge about Twilight.
Ah, gross, was he playing all 4 movies? I thought we were gonna play the Simpsons version. Wait a minute. If I scramble the words like this on the word Twilight, we get a bunch of nonsense like the movies. Finally, I checked his body and removed his broken heart. Ugh, gross!
That poor old man. Whoever broke his heart was trying to sell it for $100 to Mr. Monopoly.
Very interesting. So late at night, I built this complicated yet pretty cool Rube Goldberg project to trap you with some cheese. And after you broke the cake plate, you woke me and my daddy up, and I caught you red-footed.
Don't you mean red-handed?
No, your foot is on the red spot. And you did all this just because he baked an unbirthday cake for King Candy. But the question is, why?
Because they cut my plums out of the game in favor of a cookie tree.
Wait, I thought plums were fruit. How are they candy in Candyland? Unless you are... Plummy! And that's what the board game cinematic universe Phase 1 should have been if Battleship didn't bomb. Okay, something about this idea just doesn't feel right. Before people got so addicted to video games, board games were simplistic activities that were fun for the whole family. Some are normal like chess or checkers, some are goofy fun like Operation, Twister, or Hungry Hungry Hippo, and some that are advanced and complicated like Monopoly or Risk. But there is one board game that ironically became the top of the pyramid like the actual food pyramid, Candyland. The board game was a simple straightforward race to the candy castle by pulling a cart to land on some square candy while traveling through candy-themed areas of Candyland. The game has sold up to 1 million copies per year, released multiple versions including some licensed IP crossovers, video games either PC or mobile, and of course had their own animated film in 2005. Well, a direct-to-video movie by Hasbro and Paramount. There were plans by Hasbro to make a full theatrical film of the game afterwards, including a collaboration with Adam Sandler's studio, Happy Madison, but there was a lawsuit by Landmark Entertainment Group over the ownership and royalties of the 1984 version of Candyland, such as its stories and characters. Ever since then, there hasn't been a recent adaptation of the iconic board game, and The Great Lollipop Adventure is the only movie based on Candyland. Welcome to another episode of The Wonder Reviews. Let's follow the Rainbow Road because we're off to see the King of Candy. This is Candyland, The Great Lollipop Adventure. It's about a gingerbread boy named Jim who has to deliver a special gift to the Candy Castle for the Sweet Celebration Festival. During his journey, he comes across some colorful characters like Mr. Mint, Jolly, and Princess Lolly. But there's the evil Lord Licorice who steals the princess's scepter and plots to use it to take over Candyland where everything is nothing but licorice. In terms of story, it seems straightforward, and to its credit, it does stick to the game pretty nicely, like its structure and characters. But here's the thing. That's it. The movie is just a typical point A and B plotline where Jim goes to a new location, meets some new characters, and then reaches King Candy's castle. It gives out no character development nor learn about the world of Candyland. Since the gingerbread boy is in a hurry to get to the castle, it makes the plot predictable all the way to the end. And that's the thing, there is a sense of world building in this that we don't focus on each location that much.
1, 2, 3, 4! I just don't have time for this, Mr. Mint. Have fun!
It doesn't help either that the running time is less than an hour, so even the movie was trying to rush to the end like the characters trying to reach the castle. The movie tries to add some substance like humor and the side plot involving Lolly and Jim's responsibilities, but the jokes consist of bland, juvenile candy puns. Lolly's story doesn't contribute much even when the villain stole her scepter, and even the ending on Jim's side plot is totally dumb. Just when he thinks all hope is lost after what happened to his gift, they throw in a last-minute moral so everyone can live happily ever after.
But this young man has shown us that it blooms because of who you are.
Your Majesty, you do know that he's a gingerbread boy. He's already made of sweets. With a plot like this, there's no one but kids who can take this Candyland adventure seriously. However, that's where the charm of the movie comes in. Sure, the story is not very good, but this is the kind of movie that it's too harmless to hurt it. I mean, it's Candyland. We're not expecting some sort of cinematic universe or anything. The movie just wants to play safe and follow through the game's narrative in imaginative places. After all, people are here to see parts of Candyland and meet the iconic characters you remembered. When it comes to the residents of Candyland, they're pretty generic. They're not bad or intolerable characters, it's just that there's nothing about them that makes themselves stand out besides being a reference to the board game. With the main character Jip, he's basically the Avatar character. You know, the one who kids can relate to when watching the movie since he's going on his journey through Candyland to deliver the gingerbread icing. Makes sense since you do commonly play as gingerbread people in the actual game. Other than that, there's nothing about him that's interesting, and he's always in a hurry trying to reach the sweet celebration. There is also Princess Lolly, King Candy's daughter, that is trying to get her scepter back from Lord Licorice. The movie tries to give her a side plot where now she has this new responsibility of taking center stage in the sweet celebration with her lollipop staff, but her assignment is literally simple as pushing a button, yet she seems hesitant to do so. Other characters in the movie are only known for their one trait, and that's it. Mr. Mint is the optimistic peppermint man that prefers to have fun and stay positive. Jolly is a shape-shifting dinosaur that can turn into anything. Grandma Nut is the good-hearted granny that is sometimes wacky, accompanied by a basket dog named Baz. And the Licorice Bites are the Candyland versions of the Minions before Despicable Me existed that help Lord Licorice in speaking babble talk. And then there are some characters that are more basic than the main leads, like King Candy is the king of Candyland, Frostine is Lolly's sister, who is also a princess, Mama Ginger Tree is Jib's mom that helps him be ready on his quest, and Gloppy is the friendly chocolate monster. The only character that feels like an actual character is the villain, Lord Licorice. The best way to describe him is that he acts more like Captain Hook from Peter Pan. He may seem like a cartoony bad guy, but he does supply some entertainment from his performance by Mark Oliver, and has a threatening goal on trying to turn Candyland into Licorice Land.
And I want that scepter. So get back to the castle and don't return without it.
If I would have to find a lot of positivity in this direct-to-video movie, the animation is surprisingly good and colorful. This is where the elements from the board game really shine and help make the most of it. Candyland itself is a gorgeous place to look at, so much so that you wish you were there and grab a bite to eat. From the winter peppermint forest to the bouncy gumdrop patch to the dark red and black licorice lair to even Candy Castle at the end of the map. And since they live in a world where everything is made of candy, it does take advantage of it with the flowers, houses, and other stuff. The character designs are also impressive. Not only do they stay true to the look of the board game, but they have a variety of candy characters, whether it be the gingerbreads, the residents of Candy Castle, and a few others. And there can be some creative moments when the Licorice Bites form as a group, or when Jolly transforms into an animal or object. While I do admire the craftsmanship put into this Candyland movie, not everything is perfect. The character animation is very limited, where the movements have the feeling that the Great Lollipop Adventure should have been reserved for TV. And there are some notable errors in this film, like a few cut glitches, walk cycles that don't sink in realistically, inconsistent lighting, and other mistakes in front of the screen. The animation as a whole has a feeling of a Saturday morning cartoon, very similar to one of those Strawberry Shortcake cartoons. However, even though Candyland is a simple board game, there was a lot of effort that went into this animation, even by direct-to-video standards. It's not the greatest animation I've seen, but good enough for a Candyland cartoon. And I know some of you may be wondering, how is this Candyland cartoon not a half-hour episode? How did they stretch it to 55 minutes despite the short running time? Well, it's simple. They decided to put in a few musical numbers. Yes, this movie is also a part musical. Apparently with this talk of trying to get to the castle on time, the movie seemed to have the time to sing some songs for the running time. Sadly, for most of the songs, they don't really add much to the plot. They're not bad, and the music is rather soothing. It's just that you can tell from the musical numbers and their lyrics that they feel like they were manufactured to make a jolly songs than actually advance the storytelling further. Even if there are only 4 of them. The main song, Sweet Adventure, is the big happy-go-lucky opening and closing to Candyland.
Our sweet adventure begins today through a land full of sparkle and song.
You Ought to Gotta Have Fun is just a filler song of Mr. Mint teaching Jim about having some fun time.
Be wild and free. Stay loose like me. You ought to got to have fun.
And making it in the end is this forgettable melody about never giving up.
Don't fret, dear friend. Get up and keep on going, and you'll make it in the end.
I know it wants to present Candyland as this innocent and cheerful place with joyful music, but because the movie keeps on presenting so many happy, corny songs, they almost end up sounding the same and overall cliche. The only song that doesn't share the same cheerful tone is Licorice Land, and that's because it's Lord Licorice's villain song. It could be the fact that I'm a sucker for anime villain songs like It's Our House Now, Friends on the Other Side, or In the Dark of the Night, but Licorice Land ended up being the best song in the movie for its catchy rhythm and showing Lord Licorice's diabolical plan if he succeeds.
Licorice there, far as you can see. The smell of licorice in the air.
If they added some other musical numbers where it perfectly identified the characters and their true motives without sharing the same happy tone, it would make the movie more fun and even a bit longer. But whatever song they sing about never giving up or learning to have fun, they're basically the same lessons that we heard from any other cartoon or movie that talk or sing about these particular subjects. I wouldn't call this movie sour or anything, and there is some potential in making a Candyland movie or series. It's just that this one needs more ingredients to complete the recipe. Candyland: The Great Lollipop Adventure is a basic movie that is about as straightforward as the board game it was based on. It does stay true to the source material with some good animation and a certain charm to be entertaining, but the plot is predictable, the characters are one-dimensional, and most of the songs are bland. Since this is an anime movie that only kids can take seriously, this movie is obviously geared towards them just to see the pretty colors and play the board game later. For everyone else, I only recommend this movie to those who are looking for something that is so corny, it's entertaining. The kind that you want to turn off your brain, have fun, and possibly grab a drink and some sweets. I guess you could say that this is the fun time Mr. Mint was talking about. It's not a hidden gem like Clue the movie, but certainly better than Battleship. Now that's a bittersweet achievement. I'm going to give the one and only Candyland movie a C. I'm Mad Hatter Patrick. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go on a sugar rush while playing a game of Sugar Rush. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, check out these other videos, or feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more upcoming reviews and other projects. I'll see you soon.